It's too bad I got some.
Welcome to Jets Rewind. This is Marty Shupak. I'm on the air at our studios in Valley Cottage, New York. I'm joined by Ralph Schrager, who's up in Belmont, Mass. And Ray Clifford is on hiatus for this week. He's doing some traveling out in Idaho. So, Ralph, it's you and me. It's a duet tonight.
Well, I don't know. We're really going to have to fill in the time because Ray's the big talker here.
He is the big talker. But anyway, Ralph, we got a lot to talk about. But
yeah,
before we get to the trivia, one little bit of house cleaning. The Jets claim their running back, Austin Walter, on waivers. 24, I guess the last team he was on with was the 49ers. He appeared in 4 games, 12 snaps on offense. He returns kicks. It's getting kind of crowded there in the backfield, just like a wide receiver. But I suspect, as it was a few years ago when the Jets and the Patriots, you're going to see players going back and forth to like the Jets now and the 49ers because they know each other's personnel. But we'll see.
They also tried out Tavon Austin the other day. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that.
Yeah. Remember him out of college? Boy, he got so hyped toward the as the draft approached. He shot up to like the 10th pick, and he never really lived up to his expectations.
What was he on, the Cowboys at one time?
He's on a few teams, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Ralph, let's start with the trivia, and then I'll shoot one back to you.
All right.
Ray's not here, but go ahead.
Okay. In the history of the dull New York Jets, they have never had a Rookie of the Year on offense, which doesn't surprise me because they always draft dull players. But they've had 4 defensive Rookies of the Year. Can you name them? Marty's in trouble. I can tell that laugh.
I am big trouble. It's going to be guesswork.
I figured between you and Ray, you'd get about 3 of them at least.
They would get them.
Yeah.
Just curious, and one hint, and we'll get back to it. Did one of them go to University of Pittsburgh?
No.
No?
No.
I'm dead. Okay, Ralph, here's the question for you. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. You're going to love this. You might know the answer, though. In the state of Connecticut,
oh gosh,
there's an athlete that holds the high school record that was established, I believe, in the late 60s, maybe 1970. I think the late 60s, for interceptions returned for touchdowns. The number is 5. Now, this athlete is...
I got a guess already.
Not known for football. He's known for either baseball or basketball.
Yeah, I know.
You want to guess already?
I'm going to guess Calvin Murphy.
No, that's a very good guess.
Oh, no, it's not Calvin Murphy.
Not Calvin Murphy. And you had the years right, too.
It's not Jason Pinnock because he's from Connecticut. He should have that
From
record.
Windsor, Connecticut. Yeah, I was right near there.
That's right, yeah.
Right near that bowling alley. So do you
really?
Yeah.
Spare time.
You want me to give you a hint?
Yeah, give me a hint.
Okay, I said he's known for one of 2 sports.
Right.
It's actually he's known for baseball. Nothing to do with basketball.
Jeez.
And then I can give you a second hint. And you let me know. I know you always say if you had time, you could figure it out. But, Ralph, you got to work under pressure sometimes.
Yeah, okay. Give me the other hint.
The second hint is he's actually been in the regular news lately the last week to 10 days.
Ooh, that's interesting. Wow. Okay. Well, we'll get back to these.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So, Ralph, you want to talk a little bit about the schedule? I mean, when they came out with it and the Jets were first game against Carolina, at first I was a little disappointed because, believe it or not, and we were going to ask you to join us. Ray and I were going to try to go to the Carolina game this year, but now there's no way. But as it is, I think it's fine. I think it's great that they open with Carolina. I say, let's go. Let's bring it on. Mm-hmm. Let's see how they do head on. And what's your opinion of that?
I am too. And, Carolina's not a great team. They're a beatable team. At first I was thinking, one thing, I'm just happy they're not opening with Buffalo again. I'm really tired of that. And I was thinking, is it better to open on the road or at home? And I'm always thinking maybe better open on the road, get some of the kinks out. Maybe it doesn't work out so well. And then you come next week and you beat Belichick. who I think they can beat this year, actually.
I suspect that there'll be a fair amount of Jet fans at that game. Though I think the tickets are going to be hard to come by because everything should be open up by then. Yesterday,
Sounds like it, yeah.
yeah, they just the CDC just reverse course on the masks. The people that have had their shots, how they're going to determine who has the shots and no, I don't know if you're on the honor system or what.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's
The
going to happen.
CDC also came out and said they believe the Jets should have traded Darnold. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, okay. And Dr. Fauci thought they should have drafted Rosen. Rosen.
I did too.
Yeah, okay. All right. Anyway, Ralph, the schedule. We're going to have it up on the website this weekend. I have my guy, Laurie, he's going to be working on it. So any Jet fan that wants to see who they're playing the coming week, go to Jets Rewind. And then it's right. We'll be right on the front page.
It's not an intimidating schedule. There's
no, it's
not at all.
And be honest with you, the first 5 games, they have I'd say a pretty good shot of winning 3. Tennessee does not scare me this year at all.
Well, the interesting thing about Tennessee matchup is that Tennessee's strength is their run game, and really the Jets' strength is their rush defense. So I think they match up pretty well actually against that team.
Right. So we'll talk. Usually, I'd say we'll talk about it in quarters. Let's go by the first 5 because then they have a bye week. Carolina, I think they have a very good shot. I don't know what to make of the Patriots.
I'll tell you, Marty. I think they're crazy up here. They think. I think the Patriots are overrated big time. I'll give you one interesting stat. Bill Belichick has coached 8 football seasons as a head coach in which Tom Brady was not his quarterback. How many winning seasons do you think he had in those 8 seasons?
3.
2. And he made the playoffs how many times?
Well, he was made the playoffs with Cleveland once.
That's it.
Yeah. I still think he's a great coach.
He is he's an excellent coach, but I think he's turning 70 pretty soon. I think he's losing his fastball. I think, Newton is terrible, and I don't think you can buy your way to, being a good team.
Well, why I don't think they're as overrated as you think, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
They had the most players out for the COVID list. I think it was. I could be wrong, Ralph. I thought it was 7 starters.
They did.
And so those guys are back. I know Chung retired. It all falls on the quarterback's shoulders. That's what we're going to see.
Yeah, and remember in Brady's last year, which was 2019, the year before, they opened the season 8-0 against the most ridiculously easy schedule. Then the schedule got tougher in the second half. They went 4-4 and they lost the playoff game. So they were 4-5 for the second half of the year. So I saw deterioration in the team actually. So right. I don't know. I just feel like they can't just throw their helmets on the field just because they're the Patriots anymore.
At Denver, that's going to be tough. Home Tennessee. At Atlanta in London, that's going to seem like a home game. You're going to see there will be more Jet fans.
Probably. Well, we know our guy will be there, right?
Yes, from Ireland. So that's interesting. First 5 games. We'll go the next 3. They're at New England in October. Cincinnati, they're home, and then they're at Indianapolis, which is an interesting game because they have Carson Wentz. What's your take on, let's say, Cincinnati and Indianapolis?
Obviously they have a good. They can beat Cincinnati. They're playing at Indy. That's always a tough place to play indoors. But that'll be about 8 games into the season. So by that time, Salah and Wilson will be fairly comfortable. So again, underdog, yes, not an impossible game to win.
Your gut right now, Ralph. How do you think Carson Wentz does with
I think he does solidly. I don't think he's spectacular, but solidly.
Okay. Next 4: Buffalo, Miami, Houston, Philadelphia. Buffalo, they're at home.
Buffalo's at home.
Yeah, I don't think they match up well with Buffalo, to be honest with you.
They've had some close games with them the last couple of years, but I think they have a shot at getting a split with them this year.
Yeah. Miami, I don't know what to think. I'm gonna bring them up later on the show for something completely different. At Houston, they should win. Philadelphia, I think they're gonna win that game. I really do. It's a home game. That's actually the 17th game. Then they have their home New Orleans, at Miami, Jacksonville, Tampa, at Buffalo, last game of the year. Which
Yeah, I
five
mean,
games?
Tampa's the best team on their schedule, and that's a good time to play them, Tampa and
Yes,
Buffalo, because both of those teams might not need those games at the end of the year.
right, exactly right. So
And the New Orleans game is interesting because you might have a matchup between Zach Wilson and Taysom Hill. I
right.
think they're already writing about that out
I,
in Utah.
yeah, Ralph, I'm still a little nervous about the backup quarterback situation.
I think he's got something in mind. I think wait until after June 1st. He's going to see who's cut, and uh, I have confidence that he knows he's
Right.
aware of the situation. I'm sure.
All right. The next question is, Ralph, we are going to pick one draft pick and one undrafted free agent who we think is going to be a very productive player. And the draft pick's got to be after the fourth round. Oh no,
After Michael Carter, because what was Damian Sherwood? Was he a fourth or a fifth? I forget. I think he was early fifth. So yeah. So
yeah. So
maybe not. I don't know. Well, it's after Michael Carter, the running back. Obviously, we're not going to count him.
I think as far as the draft pick, I think it's going to be the guy that has the bad knee.
So yeah, whose name you can't pronounce.
Mason is Silent Dean or whatever it is, because I think this guy, he's a real athlete. And I wrote about it and I mentioned when I did the podcast on my own that don't be surprised if he starts out in the PUP list and he ends up following the Bryce Hall where he's not activated for the second half. That could be the way it's going to go. But I think he could be a very productive player. So that's my draft pick, Ralph. Who's yours?
Mine is Jason Pinnock. I like, you watch him play.
He's the guy from Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, he's the Pitt guy who was a big Revis fan and a Jet fan. One thing, Pitt's always seems to put good players in the pros, more so than the quality of their program. It's very interesting. But
it's funny you say that because I really wanted the Jets. They had a center named Morrissey. And I really wanted them to draft him. He went late. I forgot who picked him up, but I was dying for them to get him. But I think you're right, though. I always felt like that, Ralph, about Stanford, too. I think some of those players are better than the program, though I think he has a very good program, but I think the offensive line is always good.
Yeah. The funny thing about Pitt is that they've had 9 Hall of Famers. The record is 12, I think, USC and Notre Dame. And there were 3 more that on Pitt who are probably going to go in the next 5 years. Revis, Larry Fitzgerald, and what's his name, Aaron Donald, if he stays healthy, which would be amazing. They'd have as many as all USC and Notre Dame. Anyway, the thing I like about him is his length. They have him listed at 6, but he plays taller than that. He's got long arms. He's got the look of the type of cornerback that I like and that I think Salah looks for. And he was a track guy, so I kind of think he's got a chance to be a player.
Ralph, I wrote, and I thought I read that he was like a one-year wonder.
Was he?
Yeah. Does that worry you at all? And then,
no,
go ahead.
No, that doesn't.
Okay. And the follow-up question to that, and I'll.
Quinnen Williams was a one-year wonder.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Do you think with all the safeties and defensive backs they drafted and signed undrafted free agents, that they're still in the market for like a Steve Nelson, who I heard wants to play for the Jets, but it's a matter of money?
Is it? It's funny that nobody's picked him up. Obviously Sherwood and Hamza are going to be linebackers. So it's not as many as we thought. Michael Carter, the second, I think they have him. The idea for him is to be the slot corner. Who else they are? They kid from Kentucky. I haven't looked at him that closely. And Pinnock as a corner. No, I think they will get someone else if the price is right.
You think Nelson or Sherman?
You want me to choose?
Well, choose who you think and choose who you'd want. I mean, Sherman's like going to be 33, I think.
Yeah, I know. It's a tough call because Sherman brings intangibles. I don't know. How good do you think Nelson is? I mean, why is Pittsburgh letting him go? That's what that bothers me.
I don't know.
Pittsburgh usually knows what they're doing.
Yeah. They say he's a good fit though for Sal, so I
Yeah.
don't know. I really don't know.
What is he, about 28? Something like
No,
that?
I think he's like 29. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. If Ray was here, he would look it up while we're on the air. That's why we miss Ray. All right, let me tell you who I like as far as undrafted free agents. I had a tough choice, but I actually think, and one of them's it was a matter of two players, Ralph, and one of them's another defensive back. It's the two guys from Oregon State.
Mhm.
Hamilcar Rashad Jr. and Isaiah Dunn, who's a defensive back, and Rashad Jr. is an edge. Ralph, I cannot find out what happened his senior year. Maybe
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think I read somewhere that he did have some injuries.
I
mean,
think
for
I heard
him,
with his hand or something.
his
That's
hand,
what I heard. But
very strange because as a junior or his second to last year, he was actually second team All-American, which playing on an irrelevant team like Oregon State is pretty remarkable. For him to have gone from that to basically falling off the map, you'd have to feel like it's an injury. I've heard that he's not.
he had 14 and a half sacks.
I know.
Which is
Yeah, I definitely worth a look. It's so funny. You read about some of these undrafted free agents. You go, how is it possible that they couldn't have been drafted? Some of them. When you think of some of the players that were picked,
right? It's like we say the same thing about Yeboah, the tight end.
Yeah.
I say we said it about Bryce Huff too.
Yeah,
How come he wasn't drafted? But you're absolutely right.
it's strange.
And
the
I
way it
think
works.
you know who else wasn't drafted, which was shocking to me. It was the defensive back from Ohio State that had a horrible year, Wade.
He wasn't drafted.
I don't think he was drafted. He signed an undrafted free agent.
Wow, that's shocking. But
Which is unbelievable. That guy has so much talent. He had a horrible year.
well, I don't think he's an outside corner. I think
That's what Ray said.
Make him a safety or a slot guy. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I have one of those two. If you had to pin me down, I would say Isaiah Dunn. The only reason being is out of all the undrafted free agents, apparently he was one of the most popular. He had 6 teams after him, and the Jets really had to outbid those other 6 teams. So, and considering we were just talking about defensive backs, where they are at as far as defensive backs, I think he has a pretty good shot to be a productive player. I think I'm not high in Bless Austin at all.
Mhm.
So if he shows anything or any of the other guys, I would stick them in if they don't pick anyone else up. And the other thing I want to mention, Ralph, everyone is saying about the defensive backs. I happen to think that just the fact that they're going to have a better pass rush with Lawson and a better scheme, that always helps the defensive secondary. And that's something they haven't had in a few years.
Well, forget not just Lawson, but going
Yes.
4-3, they're going to have Rankins and Quinn Williams are going to give a push up the middle too. Yeah, they'll definitely have more of a pass rush. What's the cornerback's name from Oregon State?
Isaiah Dunn.
Isaiah Dunn. It's funny. I saw film on Yeboah, on Hamilcar, whatever his name is, on my guy Milo Eifler. I couldn't find any film on Isaiah Dunn. It's fascinating. But I'll say one thing. He was they paid more. They paid, I think, $200,000 for Yeboah. They paid Isaiah Dunn close to that. Do you know what their highest paid undrafted free agent was last year? It was Huff. They paid Huff $90,000. And when they paid that to him, they said, that means he's probably going to make the team. So these two guys are probably going to make the team.
Right.
With that kind of money.
And
now, yeah.
The weekly question, and not to backtrack, when you said Yeboah was going to make the team and Dunn, and this has been a weekly question for weeks. How does that stand as far as Ryan Griffin? Is he gone?
One of them is gone. I don't know. Maybe it's Wesco. For some reason, it is a new regime. Maybe they'll see something in Wesco that the other regime didn't. I don't know.
The only reason I think Wesco's going to stick is because he could play H-back or fullback too.
If do they use that in his system? Maybe they do.
They
yeah.
do.
Yeah, that's true.
Use the fullback, so I think he's sticks. I think Ryan Griffin is gone. Who is your undrafted free?
Mine is Milo Eifler, from the linebacker from Illinois, who is one of these guys who I think he's about 6'2", 230. He's this right size for the kind of linebackers, outside backers that Salah's looking for. I mean, this guy hits. He hits like a train. The one thing about him that concerns me a little is he goes for the highlight hit a lot with his shoulders. And when you make it, it looks great. But I've seen too many guys whiff on those occasionally. But he
So
looks
he's got
like
a little Blake Cashman in him, right? With the shoulders.
Blake Cashman has got to go. I just can't. I mean, they have all these linebackers. I don't see him fitting at all with Sal. He really hasn't done anything in 2 years. So the Landry rule is, get rid of him after 2 years. But this kid Eifler, I think he and the two guys they drafted, I think they're going to be important in their outside linebacker scheme. And I like the thinking. I think it's a different league now. I think you get these tweeners who can cover a little. I know that's always been one of the things that's driven you crazy about linebackers, that they don't cover.
With the coverage.
And that's really what they need more now. So I think going for those hybrids is really a nice idea.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. All right, Ralph. Let's move on now. You wanted to go over, and we're gonna do this a lot more than once. The win total for the Jets, and the Zach Wilson touchdown interception stats for the upcoming year. Well, before we do that, let me just ask you one question. I put as the last question. In the first game, who do you think throws the first interception?
I was going to say whichever team wins the coin toss and receives, I guess. I'm going to have to go with Darnold. Wilson has never thrown an interception at pros, and Darnold's thrown so many. You have to go with past history, right?
Right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Okay. So okay. Now let's. You want to talk about the wins, right?
Yeah. First thing I want to say about it is the NFL is built for parity, and it is much easier statistically to play around 500 than it is to win like 1 or 2 games in a year. And I think any coach who's competent coaching staff should be able to get an NFL roster to around 500. Interesting stat, Marty. You know how many times the Jets have won less than 3 games in their history? How many years they've done that? 2.
2 times?
2 times, last year and with Rich Kotite. And can you imagine how many times they've been around 500? I think it counted like around 30. So I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be around 500 this year.
Right.
And then my next argument because I'm going to give them 10 wins is that in 2019, that was Gase's first year, Darnold's second year when he missed 3 games with mono and he saw ghosts in another game. I mean, you look at the personnel on that team, Marty. I ran through it the other night. It's unbelievable how bad they were. I don't know if you want me to throw some names out at you, but like offensive line, Kalichi, who didn't play at all, Beecham, Jonathan Harrison is center, Brian Winters, Brandon Shell. That's their offensive line. I mean, unbelievably bad. Yeah. Quinnen Williams was a rookie. He was ineffective. Shepard hardly played. Anderson had a bad year that year. Brandon Copeland and Jenkins. Williamson was out for the year because of Gase's brilliant move to play him in the fourth quarter of a preseason game. We didn't have Mosley. Frankly, the bottom line is that other than maybe defensive backfield, this team is clearly better in every unit. And the bottom line is that team won 7 games and lost 9. Can you imagine that? And they were missing Darnold for 3 games, and they can't win a game without their starting quarterback because we haven't had a good backup in God knows how long. So I don't think it's I'm going to pick them to win 10 this year.
Wow. 10-7.
And I felt even better about it after I saw the schedule. Yeah.
I'm going, I was going to go 8-9. I'm going to go 9-8 just because you influenced me just now. So look, if that happens, listen, let me just say this. You brought it out, Ralph, last podcast. No matter what happens, this team is going to be a lot more fun than other years, which is unbelievable.
Well, I'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah. Well, let's finish this topic. But
after this, I want to do a special shout out. But go ahead, Ralph.
All right. So, yeah. Well, I guess 10-7. So now we're going to talk about Wilson and what we think his numbers are going to be.
Yeah, I think they're gonna keep it conservative, and I think you're not gonna see him throwing too many long passes, especially at the beginning. I'm gonna stay that he's gonna end up throwing 18 touchdown passes and 10 interceptions.
Okay. I'm going to go 24-12.
Wow. Wow.
Um, and if that happens, my biggest concern will be that teams are going to probably start coming after Michael LaFleur to be their head
Oh,
coach.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
So,
Yeah,
so I guess it's a win-win. If he has a really good year, that's great. If he doesn't, then LaFleur will
absolutely.
come for another year or two.
Hey, Ralph, I want to do a quick shout out to a special person in my life. My old high school coach, Tony DiMatteo, is retiring at the end of this
You're
year.
kidding. He's just retiring now?
78 years old. And the reason I bring it up, because it actually has a little bit to do with you, which you'll like. And just so people know, Tony DiMatteo has the second most wins in New York State football. He helped me get into college, and I only played 1 year, but I ended up, I met my wife, who I'm married to right now, and it kind of really changed my whole life just getting into college, which I ended up going to Boston University, which I had no right really getting into. If you looked at my average, it was about the average of my bowling score, below 70. So I just want to congratulate Tony DiMatteo retiring 78
I
years
can't
old.
believe he's like only 10 years older than.
Yeah. But Ralph, the reason why I brought it up with you on, he's behind one coach by 4 victories, and this coach holds a New York State record, and he's out in Long Island, and I believe it's Nassau County. So I want you to take 3 guesses. As our fans may or may not know, you originate from Long Island, Jet Country.
Wow.
So I want you to pick 3, I guess, towns or high schools where the coach
Football is.
football, and don't pick Boomer Esiason School in West Islip. That's not it.
Well, can you tell me if it's Nassau or Suffolk County?
I think it's Nassau.
Okay, I'm going to say Massapequa, Farmingdale, or Syosset.
All right, this is it. You ready? You tell me, is it in Nassau County? Bethpage.
Oh my God, that's right next door to where I lived in Plainview. Yeah, Bethpage. They didn't have.
And
You're
the
kidding.
guy's name is Howie Vogts, Vogts. You never heard of him, huh?
I wonder if he was there all that time or he moved around.
You might. So listen, we're gonna get right back to the Jets. I might send you something on this, and you could look up that guy.
Wow. So DiMatteo, how many years has he been coaching?
Well, let's see. I was there his first year, which was 1970.
Oh, and you see, when you talked about him all the time, he sounded like he'd been a veteran coach.
But what was interesting, what really he said that threw him into retirement. All his kids are into coaching. He coached against his son this year in Mayapack, and on the Mayapack team as a player was his grandson. He didn't want them on the schedule, so he says he wants to get out of it right now. But anyway, back to the Jets. Good luck, Coach Tony DiMatteo. You meant a lot to me, and you
have you been in contact with him over the years?
Not really. Your coach, your tentacles went all over the place in New York State. And even at the Belmont, Mass, Ralph Schragen knew about you.
Hey, I wonder if you had the best team he ever played on.
No, he had a couple of state champions.
Did he? Oh,
yeah. He went. He coached at Roosevelt. Then he's up in Somers, which is Upper Westchester. He had 2 more state champions. All right, Ralph. Let's get back to the Jets. I wrote a couple of questions down. Over under.
All right.
Denzel Mims, 800 yards.
You know, I would
17 games.
I would immediately say over, but there's so much talent now in that wide receiver room that they're going to be fighting for yardage. I think he's so talented.
So do I.
It's so funny. You know, I watched the clips of him again from last year. I don't know why I didn't throw to him more. He was really good in the little that he got.
In all fairness, they kept saying he was open and Sam Darnold didn't see him, which is unbelievable.
Well,
and he missed Cager a couple of times. The guy too.
That's tough to miss. You know, it's a tough call, Marty, because like I said, he's got more now. I don't know if Crowder will be there and Davis. Got a lot of guys to keep happy, plus the tight ends. That's close. I'm gonna say under.
I'm gonna say over. Okay. The next one, and I don't know if they're both true. Elijah Moore. 1,000 yards total offense, including receiving, rushing, punt, and kickoff return.
Oh, and then I'll definitely go over. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go over too. I don't know how many kickoff returns he's going
I
to
hope
do.
not too many.
No, I don't think they should do it. I think the next one, Ralph, is the most interesting out of the over-unders. It's Quinnen Williams. Last year in 2020, in 13 games, he had 7 sacks. This year in 17 games, going to the 4-3 defense, which a lot of people think
Yeah, that's where he
it's going to
belongs.
open him up.
Yeah.
I put 10.5 sacks over under.
I'm definitely going over. I think that Quinnen Williams is going to be, he's going to be a Pro Bowler for the next few years, and his name will be maybe this year or the next few years he'll be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year 1 or 2 years. Yeah, I'm definitely going over.
Okay. I just thought of you a trivia question.
Oh,
Is one of them McMillan, the defensive back?
that's right. Yeah,
I love that guy when he was there. All right, Ralph.
he was great.
Before we get back to the trivia question, quickly, I think, and you probably do too, Aaron Rodgers is going to end up playing on Green Bay. If he doesn't, you pick a team and I pick a team you think he might end up playing for.
I would say Denver.
That's what everyone's saying. I'm going to give you a team. It's going to surprise you. You ready? Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. Interesting. But Green Bay, would Green Bay want Tua? Because they already have Jordan Love, who I hear then is not ready yet. But
right. Okay. All right, Rap, you read your trivia question, and then we're going to get to mine as we're starting to wrap this up.
How much time do we have? Because I wanted to give you quickly 3 who do you takes.
Go ahead. We have like about 8 minutes. We're in the fourth quarter. My timer isn't on, but go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying the Jets never draft exciting players. This year they drafted 2. And throughout their history, they've had very few. And I thought about who are guys who are really exciting that the Jets have had. I mean, guys like Curtis Martin and Freeman McNeil were really good running backs, but they weren't the kind of guys that you jumped out of your seat for. I think the only 2 guys I could think of were like that are maybe Leon Washington and Bruce Harper. But who would you take, Bruce Harper or Leon Washington?
I love Leon Washington.
Yeah.
I was such a big fan of that guy. I just love the way he played. I'm so happy they got him back too. But I love both guys. Bruce Harper was great. As I love having a shorter guy that is hidden behind these big offensive
I know. Well, that's what we got now with Michael Carter.
Right. You're absolutely right, which is interesting. Ralph, I want to mention, I don't know if you ever saw it. One year, he caught an interception, and I was with my son Michael. We were watching him make moves.
Who's this?
It was Aaron Glenn.
Oh, Aaron Glenn.
I never saw anything like it. It was only the one interception he had where he returned it like 70 yards. I never saw a guy have moves like that. It was unbelievable. I'll never forget that.
He was good.
Okay.
All right. Who would you take for the next 6 years, say? Quinnen Williams or Nick Bosa?
Ooh, that's a good question. Nick Bosa, he's the one that gets injured all the time.
Well, yeah, he did. But I was going to say I'd take Quinnen because of that, but Quinnen just got injured too.
I say Quinnen Williams. I think he's got more upside. I really do.
Yeah, I think moving into the 4-3 is going to be very interesting. And my final one: who do you want for your quarterback for the next 12 years? Zach Wilson or Josh Allen?
Oy. It's just such an unknown with Zach Wilson. I'd have to say Josh Allen. I know.
I'm going with Zach Wilson. I feel I just
have a gut. Right. You were right on Dan Marino. You better be right on this guy. That's what I said. You were right on Marino. You were right on Burt Jones. You've been right almost all the time. I hope you're right. I've been telling everyone. Ralph Schrager says he's the real deal. So I hope you're right. Yeah. He's got to get his mom under control, though, too.
I think they shut her down. Someone got to her. I'm guessing it was her defensive line husband that probably told her.
She's got to dress down a little bit. She's a very attractive lady, but the camera's always going to be on her.
Yeah, they got to watch her. She's got to watch her mouth too.
Yeah, she does. Anyway, Ralph, repeat your question quickly, and then we'll get to mine.
Oh boy, the Jets have had 4 defensive rookies of the year in their history. Can you name them? You already got Eric McMillan, who's the oldest. I'll give you that hint. The other 3 are more recent.
Eric McMillan. I would say Sheldon Richardson.
That's right.
Um, it wasn't Darrell Rivas, he said.
I'm going to give you a hint. The other two guys had great rookie years, and it was like they were gone in a flash from the team. Typical Jets.
Typical Jets. That always happens too.
Yeah.
You know.
What happened with Richardson too? 3 out of the 4, they just disappeared.
Actually, Richardson got cut. He's out there. Somebody should pick him up to depth. That's going to the playoffs.
He's still not that old.
He's not. In fact, the Patriots should pick him up. I really believe they should. I know. 25 plays a game. He'd be great for them. I give up, Ralph. Go ahead.
Vilma and Hugh Douglas.
That's right. But Vilma and what's his name ruined him, the coach. How does he get a guy that's like a all-pro, and then he ends up
put him in the wrong system,
and then he goes to New Orleans and he ends up being great there.
Yeah, and Hugh Douglas pissed me off even more. That was one of the things that Parcells did that I never understood.
He didn't like.
He's such a good player. He didn't like him for some reason. He became a terrific. Well, he was a terrific player, and he stayed that way with Philly.
Was. All right, Ralph. Here's my question again.
Yeah, wow.
He holds the high school record returning interceptions, touchdowns, 5 of them. It still stands today. He's been in the news lately. He's known more for baseball than anything else.
Wow. And what position do you play? In baseball.
It's a good question. I don't even know.
Wow, he can't. I guess he's not. Wasn't that good?
I'll give you 2 teams. See, I'll give you 2 teams. This will give it away. He was involved in. You ready?
Yeah.
Dodgers and the Mets.
Ron Hunt.
No.
Tommy Davis.
No. Sly Williams. No.
This is like a high school player from Connecticut in the 60s.
Let me tell you that phenomenal athlete. When he was drafted in baseball, I believe he was a #1 draft pick.
You mean the first player picked in the draft or first round?
First round. And I don't think
Rick Monday.
No, that's a good guess though. No.
Rick Monday was
Dodgers, I believe.
Yeah, Rick Monday was drafted by the Athletics. Ended up with the Dodgers.
I'll give you another hint. This will give it away. You ready?
You've been giving me hints. I was supposed to give it away.
I think it's a great trivia question.
I don't know how you stumbled upon it.
To Ralph Rankin's daughter.
Richard Widmark.
Bobby Valentine.
Oh, Bobby Valentine.
Who he's in the news lately. He's from Stamford.
That's right.
He's running for the mayor of Stamford, Connecticut right now.
I just read that the other day. Yeah.
But he was an incredible athlete, Ralph.
He was.
In the state of Connecticut.
They're just writing about him. He had a horrible year up here.
Oh, I know that. I know.
Oh my God. I know. He even says I made a mistake doing that.
Which is,
that's a good question.
Good question. All right. For Jets Rewind, this has been Ralph Schrager and Marty Shupak. Until next time.